We just saw The Wedding Ringer, and on this show, I take some friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence or trying to get a recommendation, you can watch this first part, not get any spoilers, figure out if this is a movie for you. If you've already seen the movie or don't care about spoilers and just want to hear everything that we thought, watch the whole thing. We'll get into a longer discussion after the quick review. So, the quick recap, I went into this movie having seen the trailer many times over the last year, and I thought it was a movie that was going to go one of two ways. It was either going to be all of the fun stuff was in the trailer and the rest of the movie was terrible, or it was going to be an okay, fun, sort of romantic comedy, R-rated comedy sort of thing. What I didn't count on was it was one of the funniest R-rated comedies I've ever seen. I've not had an audience reaction like that since There's Something About Mary came out in theaters, that the audience has been, it was like being beaten over the head with comedy for an hour and a half. It was that funny. It was that consistent. All of the aspects were that good. If you're old enough to see an R-rated comedy, go and see this. It is a high recommendation for me. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I don't see as many movies as you do, so I think I'd seen the preview once or twice, and it was exactly what I was looking for tonight. Like, completely mindless, just hilariousness. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd recommend it too.
I really enjoyed it. I went in with about the lowest of expectations.
Yep.
And especially how many times we've seen the trailer. But it was really, really funny. Took a little bit to get going, but once it did, it just took off. Gad and Hart had amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
And even the background cast was excellent.
Everybody was solid.
Yeah, it was just really, really good.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it. Go see it in theaters. It's great.
Yeah. Good show, good movie, slow build, but really worth it. Worth the time, worth the money.
Awesome. So that's a recommendation from us. Go see it. One thing we didn't mention as part of the review is that the movie actually does have a surprising amount of heart as well as the comedy, which I also kind of saw that being set up in the trailer, but I think people will be pleasantly surprised by it. It's not it's not silly. It's not it's not weird when it happens. It doesn't go in a corny direction when it happens. So it's really great. Check it out. Don't let us spoil it. If you haven't seen the movie yet, stop the video now. Come back and check us out after you've seen it. That's your last warning. Now we're going to talk about spoilers. Yeah, we were talking before the movie started about how many movies Kevin Hart's been in and how he's kind of saturated himself into all these movies, and not very many of them have been very good. This one, I mean, by far it's the best thing he's been in. It's certainly the best movie that Josh Gad has been in. I saw Josh Gad do The Book of Mormon on Broadway, and that's the best thing I've ever seen him in. But this was very, very good too. The story kind of there was a couple of things that really impressed me and surprised me beyond just the comedy of it. The comedy's great. There's a lot of fun stuff. They give everybody lots of things to work with. It's not just, one or two people get all the jokes or anything like that. Everybody gets an even spread. It's not somebody's passion project. You can really see that. There's the thing that I kind of saw happening in the trailer, which was they're going to become actual best friends by the end of this. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I found really interesting about it, and I started realizing this about halfway through, was it's actually selling guys on the idea of hanging out with one another. It's like it's selling that whole proposition of having enough guys to make a football team, or having enough guys to be groomsmen at a big wedding like that, to the point that it makes going to the next wedding I go to may not be as onerous as it has been in the past, which is kind of an interesting thing for comedy, an R-rated
Yeah.
comedy movie to pull off.
I mean, I think that's a fair, like, I can't, how many, we had, 5 bridesmaids? And of your 5 groomsmen, 3 of them were our brothers.
Right.
Like, I think it resonates with men that they don't form those kind of relationships. They're not as, like, touchy-feely. And,
Yeah.
And, they're, like, more casual.
We usually have 1 or 2 close friends. And
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah, 7 is asking a lot. I
But,
think I
like,
had 5,
it-
and that was asking a lot.
it doubles down on the bromance because
Yes.
you've got the Kevin Hart, Josh Gad bromance, but then you've also got the
group.
group. Mm-hmm. The Goonies that have grown up. If you've seen the trailers many
that's-
times as I have.
Yeah.
At the age too, you have the older group and then you have the younger group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hadn't even really thought about, like, the football teams. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went into it expecting a raunchy comedy.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that there was actual depth to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually taken in. I was kind of like, I was kind of getting into it, their interaction. And I think a lot of it has to do with their chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think 2 other people would have worked there.
Yeah, Josh Gad is extremely good at being. People don't think of him this way, but he is the straight man in this movie to Kevin Hart, but he's excellent at it. He's so good at it.
And he doesn't come off as a straight man.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But he makes it to where, like, Kevin Hart doesn't have to play a character that's over the top and insane like he normally would.
Subdued Kevin.
Yeah.
Normally these movies follow your typical I'm set in my ways and I've got to break you out and get you to cut loose. And that wasn't like this. This was a guy who desperately wanted to be a part of a group but just never had that chance.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really well done, and the jokes were on point. They were great. There was great comedic timing.
Yeah.
Everybody had a funny part in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even the bit players, like the wedding planner, had some really funny jokes.
Well, and everybody had like a little bit of a twist as well. Like
Yeah.
the wedding planner, like he was a fake as well. Like he
Right.
was.
And doesn't it kind of seem like that's the sort of like condemning marriage a little bit? Like everything, pretty much every single thing of this movie was a lie.
Well, I mean, that's.
The idea of what marriage has become in
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely weddings. I mean, the weddings are, for most people, weddings are not about what they want their wedding to be about. It's about what, like, the appearance of the wedding
Right.
is for whoever it is they are trying to impress, whether it's their parents or their peer group or whoever,
Yeah.
their in-laws.
Yeah, and having worked at a tuxedo rental place, like her at the end talking about how the salad dressing was screwed up and the groomsmen were like her being completely ridiculous. That's so true. Like that really happens. It's not every bride. It's not like every person that goes through that, but there's enough of them.
Isn't it? I've seen bridezillas. Women be cray.
Like
I'm sorry, y'all.
I know. I don't
Guy-
remember that, but I'm
guys
sure
will
I
show
have
up
my
in a tuxedo
moments.
shop and be like, "Go ahead and duct tape whatever you want together and put it on to me, and I'll wear it out."
She doesn't remember because she blacked out. It was a rage.
I don't think it was that bad.
Not at all.
I mean, my mom, yeah.
Not at all.
She probably punched a caterer too.
No, we had
I-
backyard burgers in our backyard.
I knew what to
and
watch
Dale's
out for a
band
good
played.
15 years before we met. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
Screen. I was carefully
it was
screened
just
for
a
crazy.
really solid movie. I could see them pairing up again. Hopefully, not in a sequel to this. I
Yeah.
don't think you'd be able to pull it off
It
twice.
wouldn't work. I don't think a sequel to this would work. You
I think they
know.
would try. They
It-
would fail.
Yeah, but
Yeah. But
I
they
mean,
could like
it's-
expand on these, maybe some of the other characters, or like do a spin-off somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I think the chemistry between the two leads is good enough that they could do something different and make that work. You know, I don't know that these characters are necessarily like the characters aren't the strongest part of this movie. What works is the performances and the story, and that it's just it really smartly goes through what it needs to go through and talks you through what it needs to talk you through.
I kind of got an Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, Nick Frost, Simon Pegg feel from Hart and Gad. I mean, they really worked well with one another.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because, like, and the thing with Kevin Hart being oversaturated, like, and his, like, typical, what they pull him into a movie to do, they pull him into a movie to be Chris Tucker. Like, that's who he typically is in the movie. He's the loud, fast-talking, over-the-top, crazy guy. Somewhere between Friday and Ruby Rod, Chris Tucker. And it's nice to see him in this role, which is more, it's just, it feels more like a real, grounded character. Comedy always works better when you have, when it feels like it's a real situation. If it's just all over the top all the time, it doesn't work. It's just, anything goes, this is a cartoon, everything's crazy. And the closest this got to that was when they jumped the truck, when they jumped the van. But just as I was beginning to go, oh, they're making this into a cartoon. When it went across the moon and the E.T. music played, it was like, they got me back. They won me back.
It was
like,
great.
That was worth it for that.
One of the best parts of the movie for me was actually Kevin Hart's breakdown towards the end when Gad's telling him that he made a mistake, and he goes into that speech about nobody needs this, nobody needs Jimmy. And you just you see for a moment like his vulnerability and how alone he is.
Yeah.
It was delivered absolutely amazing.
Well, we were talking about how there's kind of a slow build in the movie, and part of that is setting all of that stuff up to pay off at the end. There's the scene, and this is so smart, because if you'd seen him sort of have doubts every once in a while about, maybe I shouldn't be doing this as a business, or maybe I really do like this guy sort of thing, it wouldn't have worked quite as well as him going back and talking to his assistant and them having that whole conversation about, that's why you got into this. Like, this is what you like about this job. And so they set that up, and they set that up in such a way that you're like, oh, that's going to pay off somewhere by the end of this movie. But then they just shower you with all of the insanity. You've got the Hangover crammed into like 15 minutes of that bachelor party.
The best bachelor party, by the way.
There was a bouncy castle.
Yeah.
And a Velcro wall.
I was in for everything until the dog.
Were you? Were you not in for the dog?
Peanut butter and a dog. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
The dog's got lockjaw.
Oh, God.
I love that they
Speaking of, there's something about Mary. Like, there's that one kind of gross out scene.
Well, and I was trying to keep track of like what scene or joke or whatever got each of us the best. Like, which one really nailed us. And the cop saying, "Is that a dog attached to your genitals?" That's what got Amber the best. Like, she was just gone.
Yeah, E.T. got you.
Yeah,
that was totally.
Because I was sitting there like, oh, they fucked it up. They're making a cartoon, and then it was just like, oh, it's E.T. That's so great.
I can't remember which one got me the best.
That kind of ages us, doesn't it? Like, do you think there was a demographic in the theater that was like, why is everyone laughing? Like, we don't get that.
There are a lot of movies.
I think there's people that didn't get it. No, I think there's definitely people that didn't get it, and it was like the music wasn't really E.T. It was like subtly close to E.T. But yeah, it was like
it was enough where
crossing the
like, oh, come on.
Well, and them setting up the driver earlier, like as the creepy guy, like chasing him around at the mini golf or whatever.
My dream.
It was so great. Yeah, I loved it.
It was good.
Enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed our review. If you do, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.